Hello and welcome. It is Modern Super League time. I'm very excited to be able to say that. Looking forward to some awesome magic, and I'm joined by Cedric Phillips. Welcome to the stream.
And a dog.
I like the dog. Welcome back.
His name is Rufus. It's been a while since he's been on camera, but he's not too shy. So glad to be here for the opening part of the MSL, and eventually going to be on camera to have Reed Duke probably bash my brains in. But that's all part of it, I guess.
All part of it. Hey, we had Gabby Sparks win the Standard Super League. We had me win the Vintage Super League. Anything is possible.
It's true. It's true. I'm a little rusty, I guess, since I don't get to play very much. And for some reason, I decided not to play Tron because I thought people would at least sort of hate me out. But after I started deck list, there were a lot of K decks, so I probably should have played Tron. So now
Well, let's show the list that I heard you were going to play. My graphics guy, Stephen Berkeley, put this list together, and it was like, oh, it's the Kithkin Tron deck. This is exactly what Cedric should be playing, right?
Yeah.
Why not the Kithkin Tron deck?
The two things that I'm known very well for, just didn't get in as much testing as I would have liked with this deck. Things were going very well, but at the end of the day, just not exactly where we wanted to be for this tournament. So it's unfortunate. We're going to keep working on that. And, if there's another MSL down the road, I'll get ready and I'll consider playing this thing. No guarantees.
All right. Fair enough. That's awesome.
Very funny, everyone.
What you did actually wind up playing is a Zoo deck. And so you were starting to walk us through the logic. Do you want to say a little why Zoo specifically?
Zoo specifically because Patrick Sullivan has a way of getting into my head because we spend all this time on the road together, and after our shows, I have to watch him talk about how great Gutshot is, and starting off with a turn 1 to Coddle, turn 2 Idle on the Great Revel, and I can't possibly lose now. And I've played some games with the deck. I've helped him work on the deck a little bit. The inclusions of Mutagenic Growth and Gutshot. We kind of came up with together one night in the room, and it's just he's been having a lot of success with it on Magic Online. I think that Zoo is probably a little bit better than people give it credit for. And again, at the end of the day, I spend 35 weekends a year with them, so might as well give it a shot and see how it goes.
Fair enough. Yeah, the deck looks solid. I mean, there was definitely a fair amount of Zoo doing fairly well at the GP in Oklahoma City last weekend as well. So
yeah,
it makes sense to me.
I think I'm pretty sure Reed played Zoo at that tournament.
He did. He played 4-color Zoo, so he had Geist of St. Trapt in there.
Okay.
But yeah, kind of a bigger Zoo, I guess. At Geist of St. Trapt, definitely taking advantage of the blue and the white.
Yeah, I don't know. Nakado got unbanned, and then it doesn't really ever see any play. And I don't think it should have been banned in the first place. But I feel like there's probably a deck here. You have 10 fetches, and then all the Ravnica dual lands, and you have perfect mana in theory. It's just figuring out what spells and creatures you're supposed to play. And this combination has been working out pretty well for Patrick. And I decided, I've watched it do well against a lot of decks. I hope that people aren't playing decks that are really good against this. Hopefully not too many Kitchen Finks and Tarmogoyfs out there. And that is kind of true.
Yeah, no, I think that the field we've got as 8 different decks, kind of 6 different decks, and then 3 very black-green decks, right? Different ways you can play Tarmogoyf and Liliana together. You were saying you kind of wish Tron, because you have a matchup against the black-green decks?
Yeah, I mean, the reason you play Tron is because your matchup against the black-green decks is so good. You don't really care about Abrupt Decay, Liliana, Tarmogoyf, all that stuff, Dark Confidant. The way that Tron lines up against that deck is really good. Now, if they want to play a lot of cards in their sideboard, Fulminator Mages, and a bevy of other cards because it's going to take more than Fulminator to beat you, then they can do that, and it's really hard to win. But people don't do that. For some reason, I was under the illusion people might do that, or they might load up on Stony Excellence and Sowing Salt because I'm known for playing just one deck in Modern. So I probably thought this and tried to juke some people with Zoo deck, but I don't think the Zoo deck that I'm playing is that poorly positioned. So I'm not unhappy with my decision. Had I known that a lot of people were going to do this sort of black-green thing that they're doing, I would have played Tron 100 times out of 100.
Yeah, I was a little surprised that we got all the way to 3. I mean, Sean McLaren, it's not a blue-white-red deck. What the hell, right?
Yeah, I'm a little surprised Sean's not playing Jeskai. It almost makes no sense given, he went Pro Tour with Jeskai, and he's known as a Jeskai guy. I know he's been playing on Standard recently, had a lot and stuff on it, it's Rhino, but this is very ocean-like for Modern.
Yeah, the other thing that I found interesting looking at the deck lists is how much hate there is for Lantern decks, right? The crazy Lancing control deck that won the GP last weekend. It's just 4 creeping corrosion. Like, people kill artifacts right now.
So that's actually an underlying theme on why I played Zoo, because first of all, Tron can't beat that deck ever, and Luis is a little bit of joker, so I kind of had a feeling Luis might play that deck just to mess with some people, and I wouldn't be able to live with myself if I lost to the Lantern deck, let alone losing to like Luis kind of trolling people with the Lantern deck. So I'm just playing a deck that obliterates the Lantern deck in Zoo.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So, do you see anything interesting when you first got the deck list? And to be clear, I should make sure everyone knows how this worked. Nobody knew the bracket before deck lists were submitted. So everybody submitted their deck lists, then the pairings get rolled up and published. So no, it didn't have to worry about too much about metagaming other than knowing who the 8 players are in the field, of course. But anything else jump out at you when you saw what you're up against?
I was a little surprised to see Siggy playing white-black tokens instead of Affinity, because he's had a lot of success with Affinity. So that was a little bit surprising. McLaren playing Jund was a little bit surprising too, because that's just not really a thing that he does. But I'm actually going to, I have the Excel document in front of me, so I'm going to Control F Kitchen Finks.
All right, sounds like we have a little bit of audio stuttering. So we are going to take the stream down shortly, restart it, and try to get rid of the stuttering, see if that will deal with our audio stuttering. So that's why we come up before we get to match time. I can keep looking for kitchen finxes, and we will be right back.